You need to see this right now. As I record this, the digital ink is being scrubbed from the servers at the State Department and the Pentagon. What I'm about to tell you is the single most significant geopolitical shift in the last 50 years, and the mainstream media is burying it under a mountain of celebrity gossip and partisan bickering. The world changed in the last hour, and if you aren't paying attention, you are going to wake up in a country you don't recognize. The truth is harsher, colder, and more dangerous than anything you will ever hear on the evening news. I've spent my life in the shadows of military intelligence. I've walked the halls where the real decisions are made. I've analyzed theater-level conflicts from the deserts of Iraq to the bunkers of Eastern Europe, and I am telling you, the data I am seeing from my sources on the ground right now indicates a total collapse of Western strategy in the Middle East. Israel is on the brink, the war is not going according to plan, and the situation is worsening by the minute. Stay with me, because the most shocking part of this, the actual smoking gun that the Pentagon is hiding regarding the survival of the IDF as a cohesive fighting force, is coming in just a moment. You need to understand the reality on the ground, not the sanitized version the elites want you to swallow. Imagine the scene right now in the Kiryat in Tel Aviv. The air is thick with the smell of stale coffee and the electrical ozone of overheating servers. Flickering communication lines are buzzing with reports of Iron Dome saturation that the Israeli public isn't being told about. Orange skies hang over the northern border, lit not by the sun, but by the relentless streaks of Hezbollah's precision munitions. In my time in military intelligence, I've seen what a failing offensive looks like, and this is it. The invincibility of the Israeli Defense Forces is being dismantled in real time by an adversary that has spent 20 years preparing for this exact moment. The data I am seeing from my sources within the intelligence community who are horrified by the lack of transparency, suggests that the Iron Dome is currently operating at a catastrophic failure rate against the newest generation of Iranian-made swarming drones. We are talking about Wave 55 of tactical saturation. I've analyzed theater-level conflicts for decades, and I can tell you that when you have 3,000 incoming signatures and only a handful of interceptors left in the magazine, the math is over. Our own SM-3 interceptors, costing millions of dollars a pop, are being fired at drones that cost less than a high-end lawnmower. The technical specificity of this is what the Pentagon doesn't want you to know. They are losing the war of attrition, and they are losing it fast. Right now, the situation is escalating from a tactical stalemate into a regional war that will inevitably draw in the United States. But here is where it hits your bank account. The elites in Washington are currently preparing for the collapse of the petrodollar as a direct result of this conflict. If the Strait of Hormuz is closed even for a week, you are looking at $15 gas at the pump. I'm not being hyperbolic. I've seen the projected supply chain disruptions. Your 401k is tied to a dollar that is being systematically decoupled from the world's most vital energy veins. And while you're worrying about how to afford groceries, the secret country I've warned you about is already moving its assets out of the dollar and into gold and local currencies. Every 15 minutes, the stakes are rising. We've moved past the limited operation phase. We are now looking at a potential existential scenario for the state of Israel. The plan was a quick, decisive strike to neutralize Hamas and deter Hezbollah. That plan is in the trash. Having analyzed the logistics of the IDF's deep battle doctrine, I can tell you they are running out of 155mm artillery shells. The U.S. has already depleted its own war reserve stocks for allies Israel. The WRSAI. We are naked, our magazines are empty, and the enemy knows it. The sensory drama on the ground is intense. The smell of cordite in the tunnels, the frantic shouting of officers who realize their trophy active protection systems on their Merkava IV tanks are being bypassed by simple top-down EFP strikes. I will reveal the smoking gun, the secret memorandum from the Joint Chiefs that admits the U.S. cannot win a two-front war in this theater by the end of this video. But first, you need to understand the psychological state of the decision makers. I know these people, I've briefed them. They are operating in a feedback loop of arrogance and fear. They think they can manage the escalation. They can't. When the Aegis system hits its saturation point and the Mach 7 hypersonic signatures start appearing on the radar over the Mediterranean, there is no management left. There is only the unthinkable. Let's talk about the history of the weapons being used. The Merkava tank was designed for a different era. It was built for tank-on-tank battles in the Golan Heights. It was not built for a 360-degree urban insurgency where drones drop thermobaric grenades from above. I've seen the telemetry of the recent losses. The IDF has lost more heavy armor in the last 6 months than it did in the entire 1973 Yom Kippur War, but the media won't tell you that. They show you recycled footage of empty streets and tell you the cleanup is almost done. It's a lie. The reality on the ground is a meat grinder. I feel a profound sense of patriotic anger as a former Marine. We are watching our closest ally being led into a trap, and our own leaders are the ones who set the bait. They've hollowed out our own military to fund a conflict that was unwinnable from day one. I've walked the decks of our carriers. I've seen the eyes of the sailors who know they are sitting ducks for the carrier killer missiles being moved into position by the Iranian-led Axis of Resistance. My heart breaks for the troops who will be sent into this firestorm to cover for the mistakes of the experts in the State Department. The technical specificity of the current failure is staggering. We are seeing a total breakdown in command and control, C2. The flickering communication lines aren't just a metaphor. Israeli High Command is currently dealing with a cyber offensive that has blinded their satellite uplinks. Imagine being a commander in the field, the sky turning orange from incoming fire, and your screens go to static. You can't call for air support because the F-35s are grounded due to a lack of spare parts being diverted to other theaters. This is the reality. This is the worsening situation that the elites don't want you to see. Now let's look at the economic carnage. This isn't just about gas prices. It's about the collapse of the global insurance market. When those Mach 7 signatures start hitting commercial shipping, the insurance rates will triple overnight. Every good you buy, from your phone to your clothes, is shipped. When the insurance fails, the shipping stops. When the shipping stops, the global economy hits a brick wall. The secret country I've mentioned is already positioned to profit from this. They have their own independent shipping lines and their own gold-backed clearinghouses. They are waiting for the U.S. to bankrupt itself, trying to save a plan that was doomed from the start. Stay with me because I'm about to reveal that smoking gun. I've obtained a summary of a classified war game conducted by CENTCOM just 3 weeks ago. The results were so catastrophic that the report was immediately special access. Required, SAR, and buried. In every single iteration of the game, the US and Israel lose total air superiority within the first 72 hours of a regional escalation. The Iron Dome is depleted, the Patriot batteries are overwhelmed, and the unthinkable nuclear threshold is reached by day 5. This is why the media is scrubbing the narrative. They don't want you to know that the adults in the room have already lost the war on paper. The psychological state of the IDF leadership is one of absolute desperation. They are talking about the Samson option, the idea that if Israel goes down, they take the whole region with them. This is the nuclear existential scenario that we are currently flirting with, and the Biden administration is paralyzed, more concerned with domestic polling than with the fact that we are on the precipice of World War III. I've analyzed these theater-level conflicts for decades, and I've never seen a gap this wide between the official story and the reality on the ground. Think about your bank account one more time. Imagine a world where the dollar is no longer the reserve currency because we couldn't protect the very trade routes we promised to secure. Your savings, your home value, your pension, all of it is predicated on the illusion of strength. When that illusion shattered in the last hour with the latest tactical failures in the north, the secret country started the clock on the final sell-off. I'm seeing data of massive capital flight from Western markets into Eastern safe havens. I'm angry, I'm breathless, and I'm telling you the truth because nobody else will. The sirens you hear in Tel Aviv are the sirens of a dying world order. The smell of cordite in the air is the smell of a failed foreign policy. We have been lied to about the iron wall. We have been lied to about the strategic depth of our allies, and we are being lied to about the safety of our own economy. Having analyzed these systems, I can tell you that the Aegis saturation I mentioned is the tactical end state. Once you lose the ability to defend the fleet, you lose the ability to project power. Once you lose power, you lose the currency. Once you lose the currency, you lose the country. The secret country knows this. The five countries I spoke of earlier, the ones begging for the Iranian-Pakistani corridor, know this. They are all moving to a post-American reality, and Israel is the canary in the coal mine. The war isn't going according to plan because the plan was based on an America that no longer exists, an America with unlimited munitions, an untouchable currency, and a military that could win on two fronts simultaneously. That America is gone, and the data I am seeing confirms it. Now, for the smoking gun I promised, the document I've seen reveals that the Pentagon has already drafted a withdrawal and consolidation order for all non-essential personnel in the region. They are preparing to cut and run just like they did in Afghanistan, but this time they are leaving a nuclear-armed ally to face the consequences alone. They are hiding this because it would trigger a total collapse of the Israeli government and a global panic. They want to keep the illusion going for just a few more weeks, long enough for the elites to finish their wealth transfer. You need to see this right now. You need to understand that the reality on the ground is that the war has already been lost at the logistical and economic level. Every missile fired is a nail in the coffin of the American century. The situation is worsening, and the unthinkable is becoming the inevitable. Don't listen to the talking heads on the news who are paid to keep you calm while your future is being liquidated. Listen to the data, listen to the telemetry, listen to the sirens. The world has changed in the last hour. The Mach 7 signatures are in the sky. The orange glow is on the horizon, and the secret country has already placed its bets against us. Stay vigilant, stay informed, because in a world of lies, the truth is the only weapon you have left to protect your family and your future. The situation is worsening, but now at least you know the truth. The elites don't want you to see this, but I've laid it all out. The clock is ticking. Prepare accordingly.